welcome back, everybody. Happy Monday morning. We are back with another episode of Rogue Actions Part 2. If you guys are just getting here, guys, make sure you get over right now. Check out Part 1 over on Rambam's channel. You can find the link down below, folks. And check out a very healthy discussion that we had on, some quality of life updates, as well as Baylan and whether he is worth it. Really good discussion over there, guys, on Part 1. Part 2 over here, guys, we're going to be kind of continuing the conversation of Baylan versus Ahsoka here, specifically focusing more so on the Ahsoka side of the conversation here in Part 1 of our discussion. So, first and foremost, guys, the Ahsoka REQS just recently came out, and we're going to be talking about whether these are reasonable REQS so far or ridiculous REQS. So, first and foremost, let's go ahead and pivot over to our first screen. The first one that we have here, this has been known for, I believe, a couple of weeks at this point, and that is REQS. So 501st REQS, for those of you that don't know, this is not CREX, not Captain REQS, is required at Relic 7. I think most everybody expected REQS was going to be a requirement of some kind. I think most everybody probably expected Relic 7 on this as well. So I don't think this was anything that surprised anybody at all at this point. But we've known that for a couple of days now. The next big announcement that came out, they just dropped a puzzle on Friday night. For those of you that are unaware, they dropped the puzzle on Friday night. It was solved very quickly, actually, ironically enough. But it dropped two key information points here. One says that Sabine, who we're going to talk about in a second, will be required for GL Ahsoka at Relic 7. And Ahsoka Tano Fulcrum, confirmed now, we've all been speculating on this for a while, is going to be required at Relic 9. So that's 3 Relic 9 characters now for Ahsoka at this point, guys. This is going to lead into some very interesting discussion. We're going to get to that in a second. The third and final rec, obviously we kind of alluded to it here, is Sabine at Relic 7. They also, though, dropped some artwork and a couple of her ability names, at least at this point. So she is light side. One would assume she's going to be a Jedi tag at minimum, plus the Spectre tag probably. I'm intrigued to see if she's going to have the Mandalorian tag. I would think she would. Her basic, from the looks of it, is Practiced Swing. She also has Frantic Strike and Fallback Tactic, and those are both abilities, not necessarily uniques or leaderships, guys. So it looks like she is going to be a basic plus 2 specials, and probably, I would suspect, a unique, if not 2 uniques as well with her kit. Certainly, I would not think a leadership ability with hers, but you never know. So those are our big requirement updates for Ahsoka. First question, Ram, with this is, are you surprised at all by these? Is there anything that pops out to you that's kind of surprising, and or are you just, like, oh no, this was expected. This is what we saw coming. What do you think?
I was completely shocked that they required Ahsoka Tano Fulcrum at Relic 9.
Really?
No.
Oh, okay. I was gonna say, we've been saying that for forever.
Right. I was not shocked by REQS. I was not shocked by Ahsoka Tano Fulcrum. And we kind of expected a new version of Sabine, however they wanted to call her. We kind of expected it. These are the only 3 requirements, so we're still technically missing 1 for that full set, right?
Yes, we're gonna get to that in a moment. Yeah.
Okay. So Sabine, me personally, I don't think she's gonna be a Jedi. I think, she's a Padawan, but I just don't know if they would go Jedi with her, because she's not really practicing the Jedi ways necessarily. She's practicing Ahsoka, which all the versions of Ahsoka are all, well, with the exception of Padawan, all the versions of Ahsoka are unaligned Force users. So I could see them actually going unaligned Force user Spectre, and obviously light side, but she has Force powers, like in the show. Yeah, she has Force powers a little bit, but she's like barely tapping into them. She's not handy with a lightsaber at all. She relies more on her Mandalorian stuff. So right. I don't know if they would necessarily go with a Jedi version yet. And I say yet because I don't think the Ahsoka show's over with. So we might get more versions of Sabine later down the road when she actually does become a fully fledged Jedi.
That's an interesting topic you brought up there. So I assumed Jedi. Here's why. So obviously Ahsoka is not a Jedi because she left the Jedi Order. Sabine obviously is not in the Jedi Order because the Jedi Order doesn't exist at this point. But I would argue that Ahsoka is training her in the ways of the Jedi. So I would tend to think it's a Jedi tag because of that, but I could certainly see an UFU tag under the argument that it's Ahsoka's unique brand of training, so to speak, or interpretation of training. Obviously, we're going to see a lot of Anakin's influence. If you guys watch the show, spoiler alert, there's a lot of Anakin's influence in the way that she's being trained, which is, again, of course, Jedi for the most part. Again, if you know some lore and history and background of all that stuff from the Clone Wars and things, guys, you know that he kind of pushed the boundaries a lot on what was acceptable from a Jedi standpoint of view. But I would still think, from technically speaking side of things, it would be a Jedi. That's a great question, though, Ram. Guys, let us know in the comments down below. Do you think she's going to have the Jedi tag or the UFU tag, the light side UFU tag? That's a really, really good question. I had not thought of that, to be honest with you. Back to the Relic 9 discussion, Ram. So, Fulcrum Relic 9, everyone and their uncle. As soon as we saw, and I said this from day one, as soon as we saw Snips was an R9, that guaranteed the other two were going to be R9 as well.
Yeah.
Here's my question. So that's 3 R9s. That's the most R9s ever in a requirement for anything, period. Do you see another character being required at R9? Specifically, where I'm thinking is one of the tank characters. Either A, Plo Koon. That's kind of the popular speculation right now. Or B, I think a dark horse would be General Kenobi. Do you see either of them, or anyone else for that matter, being an R9 rec, or do you think we're done with the R9 recs at this point?
I really don't know. The only R9s, right, that we have currently are the Ahsoka R9s, right?
For this requirement, yes, yeah. For the Ahsoka unlock, it's just the Ahsokas at R9.
So, I mean, they could easily keep it at no R9s or no other R9s because they're not Ahsoka.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if they would do any more R9s. I could definitely see some R8s because I don't even think we really have any R8s, right? They're all either R7s or R9s, right?
I think Gas is the only R8 at the moment.
Gas is R8, okay. And that one makes sense at R8. So I would expect maybe one or two more R8s. I don't know if I would see any more R9s.
Yeah, Gas is the only R8 at the moment.
GK would be obviously he'd make sense. Same with Plo.
Mm-hmm.
But a lot of people, here's the issue, is they're not going to get a whole. That's a free gimme. Because a lot of people are going to have one or both of them, especially if you're super active in Fleet Arena and GAC and TW. A lot of people are going to have both of those at R9 because they're both pilots. They both have really good ships, all that stuff. So, yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, I'm intrigued to see on that one. Let us know in the comments down below, guys. Do you think we will see a 4th R9 with this? I'm actually leaning towards no. I think it'll be an R8. I originally said General Kenobi, which is why I went R9, but I think if it's Plo, that'll be an R8, I think. I don't think they'll take him all the way to R9. So I'm actually leaning a little bit more towards no more R9s and not being General Kenobi. But let us know in the comments down below, guys, if you think we will see another R9 or not. Ram, our kind of third and final discussion point on the Ahsoka Rex. So you mentioned earlier this is 3 of the next 4 Rex here. There is still one more that we are missing. Who do you think that is going to be?
So again, I think it's going to be. Man, I could easily see them going with Kanan. I could see them going with OG Ezra.
Well,
I could see them going with
Ezra's
Plo.
already there.
Oh, is he?
Yeah,
well,
he was in the first ones. Yeah, he was in the first series of Rex. Yeah.
Okay. Well, that
Kanan
makes sense.
is
So
not
Kanan.
yet, though. Kanan would be a good one. Yeah.
So Kanan makes sense. I mean, they could do Padawan Sabine. They could do Hera. They could do Chopper. But I think the safest bet, honestly, is just going to be either Plo or GK. One of those two is going to make the most sense. I don't know if they would be in this set or the next set, but I mean, it makes sense. If you're only waiting on one more, GK or Plo.
See, I hate the answer I'm going to give on this one.
Oh, here we go.
So I think bow of some kind is going to be a requirement. I think they're going to do Siege of Mandalore as one of the parts of the event, which would mean they would need a bow character of some kind. I suspect it's going to be Bow Mandalore, but I don't think they're going to let us know in this series of Rex. I think they're going to wait until the 4th and then drop that at the last minute. As much as I would love to see them announce, if it's going to be Bow, I'd love to see them announce that as the 4th, Bow Mandalore at this point, so we can have both November and December to go for her. But I don't think they're going to do it. I think they're going to try to panic us in December and drop that in the 4th Rex. But if they don't panic us and they drop something else, I'm actually kind of with you on the Kanan. We know Ezra's required. We know Kanan was at the Twilight of the Apprentice. We pretty much are guaranteed that that's going to happen with Fulcrum and Ezra both there. Maul's a part of the, or not Maul. Asajj is a part. Well, no, she's totally different. But anyway, I think Kanan's pretty much a lock that he's going to be one of the Rex. So why not put him in now? That's not making us panic farm at all. That's kind of one that we would all work towards anyway. Most of us already have him at Relic 3, if not Relic 5. So that I think just makes sense. I can see them stalling it out a little bit longer and not giving us those ones that we're not as confident about until the 4th and final thing. Right. But yeah, I don't know. Let us know in the comments down below, guys. Do you think that 4th one is going to be Bow? Which version of Bow, if you think it's going to be Bow? Or do you think it's going to be more something like Plo or Kanan, some other legacy character that that would be a little bit more of just a relic farm at this point than necessarily a shard farm? Ram, last question before we move on with this, though. Do you think that... So I'm pretty sure we're going to get Sabine this upcoming week. Most likely on Wednesday, I'm guessing. I think they're going to push it out a little bit earlier than I thought they would. I thought they'd wait in every other week cadence here. Do you think we get all of these Rex, all of this 3rd set of Rex this week along with Sabine, or do you think they only push Sabine this week and wait another week for the Rex to come out?
So the first two sets they pushed out all at the same time, right?
Yeah.
This is the first one that they've kind of dribbled along.
Yeah, I believe so. Yes. I think Ezra may have been leaked a hair early. I could be wrong on that though.
I could see them pushing it back. Panic farming, especially with Balin having come out and with the with Conquest and Ezra and whatnot, everybody's gonna be wasting their gear on all this other stuff, all these other characters, and then Padawan Sabine coming out, so they're gonna be farming her and wasting gear on her.
I think it depends.
Then they could say Kanan, and a lot of people are not going to have him at a very high relic level because who really uses Phoenix?
Yeah. I think it depends on whether they put Bow out in this set or not. If they put Bow out in this set, look at the timing of this, okay? The next Bow event is the 10th, I believe, of November. That's Sunday. Okay, this as of posting this video, it'll be after the video Sunday. More than likely, they will drop Sabine on the 6th, the Wednesday, and you would think that if they're going to drop it the same week, they would drop the update for the Rex then, too. If it's Bow, drop it then, and then everyone has, that weekend to go for both Sabine as well as Bow immediately. But if you slow play it, then I think we might be waiting another week. They'll wait until after the Bow event, and they'll drop something else like Kanan. So I think that's going to be a bit of a telltale as to whether it's Bow or not. Obviously, we'll know when they drop it, but I kind of imagine it being Bow, and they drop it on Wednesday, and everyone and their uncle both panic farms Sabine and Bow. If you want people to wail, that's how you get them to wail,
Yourself included, huh?
Yeah, it's going to suck. It's going to suck. But yeah, it probably would happen. Probably. Let me know in the comments, guys. What do you guys think? Are you with us on what we talked about here with Ahsoka and her Rex and such? Or do you think we're totally out in left field? I don't know. I feel like I know Ahsoka pretty well, and I've got a good handle on it, but I said that about music too, so, here we are. All right, moving on to...
Said that about English.
I'm right on the English. I'm right on that one. I may not know who the who is, but I know how to use who in a sentence.
Who's the who?
Whom? What?
Who?
Anyway, moving on to our next topic, guys. So we talked about things earlier in the video that were kind of good that CG is doing. Well, now we're going to talk about the bad. And it's real bad. It is real bad. And that is the fleet disaster that is currently going on, guys. And as much as I would love to say fleet doesn't matter, because we all hate that game mode pretty much, it's really important. It's almost more important than GAC to some degree, because the amount of crystals you can bring in from your fleet arenas, plus GAC on top of that matter. So first of all, guys, in case you've been living like under a hermit hole, speaking of Ahsoka and Pretty and all that stuff. So when the Punishing One came out for the Executor, it basically was beating too much of the Leviathan for their preference, is what they said, is what I'll say. And their solution to that problem was to basically make the TIE Dagger the ideal team that you show for Leviathan, so that basically the Punishing One teams can't beat that comp. They can beat other versions of the Leviathan comp, but they can't beat this version. So they buffed TIE Dagger to make that the preferred version. Well, here's the problem. In theory, it's literally a coin flip. Literally a coin flip. It does not really matter how good your TIE Dagger is. It doesn't matter how good your Fury is. None of that stuff matters. It's just a coin flip of which capital ship goes first. And because the R9 is the cap, you can't do anything really to make your capital ship go faster than another person's capital ship. So literally, this fleet matchup now is pure RNG. Pure RNG. The fleet ship that goes first, the capital ship that goes first, should win. Okay, so that's the, in theory, solution they came up with. And on top of that, by the way, we're not even talking about this. On top of that, this completely nerfed the Scythe counter to Leviathan, which I am A-okay with. Just point of reference there, guys, because I hate that and everything about Inquisitors. But the bigger problem right now, guys, is that this stuff's not working correctly. It's not working. So it's supposed to work so that the Dagger, and we're showing you guys kind of their updated, we did an oopsies and we just fixed the terminology, but it's really not fixed at all. It should be that the allied capital ship, if the allied capital ship is Sith, while TIE Dagger is active, enemy dark side ships, that's not just Sith, that includes Empire, can't gain bonus turn meter, including the capital ship. So that immediately nerfs Thrawn and the Scythe and all that jazz. But the bigger problem here is this isn't working. Like, people are still taking in, and I can see this firsthand because I am seeing it firsthand in my fleet. People are still taking in the Sith Assassin, and they are still beating the TIE Dagger. So, for instance, I'm running TIE Dagger right now, guys, and currently our first place person is running Sith Assassin. Oh, no, never mind. Sorry, somebody got yeeted down. Where was he? Where was he? Here he was. So this guy was in first place. He's the one that beat me most recently. He's running Sith Assassin. So Sith Assassin is still beating TIE Dagger, which means something is not working correctly. In addition to that, we're now seeing bugs where the Mark 6 Interceptor is coming in, doing its basic to yeet somebody, and then still has 40 stacks afterwards. So they have multiple yeets in a row. Like, there are so many bugs with this current fleet with the Leviathan. It's ridiculous. And then just their approach in general on how to fix this, where in an ideal setting, it's literally just a coin flip, it's just pure RNG, is the most asinine thing I think I have ever seen out of CG at this point. I am so annoyed with what they did here and how they approach this. And the backlash has been huge. It's not just me. Ram, where do you stand on this? Do you think this is horrendous? Do you think it just needs the bugs fixed? Like, please tell me I'm overreacting.
This is exactly the opposite of what they said they were trying to fix, right? Yeah. So you said it, and I don't even know if you showed it, but you said there's people in your shard that are still running Punishing One and climbing.
Oh yeah, yeah. It, you can see it right now on the screen. Pizza Hut here, number 3. He's still climbing. So this is supposed to shut down that counter, and he's still climbing easily.
I think the label is blocking it, so I don't think we can actually see that.
What?
Click on his name.
Pizza Hut?
Yeah. No, not him. That's the Leviathan guy. You said the guy with the executor, right?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, see right there. Yeah, the label's blocking it. But yeah, so that's the issue right there. Is there are people still climbing with what they said was not supposed to be climbing against Leviathans. The Sith Assassin still working. The Mark 6 not working. The TIE Dagger not working. I immediately swapped over to TIE Dagger.
Yeah.
And I've been dropping.
Yes. I've been dropping worse than I was. Yeah.
Which is just it's frustrating. And then like you said, the issue too is the now coin flip. The Mark 6 or the Sith Assassin kind of got around that a little bit, because now you could, if they hit the foresight, and you could gain the little extra turn meter and get out in front. But now you go right back to coin flip, which that's what made the Leviathan counters miserable to begin with, was just the coin flip. Whoever went first wins. Yeah, it's just a matter of time. You will win. It's
for reference,
it's very frustrating.
My fleet is very dead, but 8 of the top 20 fleets are punishing 1 fleets. Like this fix did not work.
No. And again, we praised them. What was it when they announced this? 2 weeks ago?
Mm-hmm.
We put it on a topic in Rogue Action. We praised them for this, because they could have nerfed the punishing one and just be like, yeah, well, bait and switch. Hey, you paid for this, you willed for it, and we don't like the way, so we're gonna nerf it.
Right.
And we were like, no, we love the fact that they kept the punishing one, and they were like, let's just change the TIE Dagger to make it where punishing one can't beat TIE Dagger.
Mm-hmm.
What are you doing, CG? What is going on? Because this is like,
I just don't understand. Wait, why couldn't we just simply have put in some clause in Dagger's unique that Sith allied tanks start with undispellable breach immunity? That should fix the problem, right? Should it not?
Yeah.
Now,
you could do something like that, and you could also do something.
Or no, hold on, I take that back, because that doesn't fix the mirror match issue. So put it in the tanks kit. I forget what he's called, what that ship's called. Put it in the tanks kit that he starts with undispellable breach immunity. Then you can run whatever Leviathan fleet you want to, and you can still beat other Leviathan fleets.
No. This is what fixes this, right? This is what fixes this.
Like
you put in a clause in Dagger's kit, right? Or you put in a clause. No, you put in a clause in Dagger's kit, right? Where, if this ship is in the lineup, whether it's actively out or it's in the reinforcement slot, right? If this ship is in the lineup, all Sith or all ships, including capital ships, cannot gain turn meter unless bonus turn meter unless the allied capital ship is a Sith capital ship, right? Something along those lines. Where, okay, so Leviathans can still run the Sith Assassin lineups to make the mirror matches a little bit easier, but punishing one's not going to be able to beat them because Dagger's still in the reinforcement slot.
But
so they're not getting that bonus turn meter and whatnot.
You're still stopped. So the whole reason Sith Assassin beats Daggers is because of turn meter, though. So if you put if you put something in to stop turn meter gain, that's going to stop the Sith Assassin counter. In theory, it's still working somehow, but
no. Well, that's why I said so. English is not my strong suit, obviously, but with the exception of Sith allied capital ships.
Oh, right? Okay, I see what you're saying. Okay,
so Leviathans will still be able to gain bonus turn meter, just not Thrawn, not Executor, not any of these other capital ships.
See, but here's where people will get mad though. That still neuters the Scythe counter then. Scythe still would not be able to counter Leviathan.
Oh yeah, no, I'm fine with neutering the Scythe counter. That's fine, whatever. I'm just saying the mirror match. I hate the Leviathan mirror match so much that it's like, Oh yeah, Ty Dagger. You're both required at Relic 9, or the Leviathans both required at Relic 9 because that's your requirement for DR. Point flip. I have literally gone in, and I cannot tell you how many times I've done this for mirror matches. I have literally gone in. We have the same type of mods on the characters.
Mm-hmm.
I'll go in. I'll draw first, which means I'll win the matchup because I'll win the ultimate first. And then I fight the same guy again later down the road, and guess who goes first? He goes first. Why? It's the same fleet. My bad. My bad. Yes, it's the same effing fleet. Like, how is he going first, but I just went first against him?
It doesn't make any sense, man. Well, again, that's the RNG factor of it.
I hate it.
Your solution, while yes, it fixes what CG is saying they want to fix. A lot of people would argue that this actually wasn't so much about punishing one beating Leviathan. This was about them wanting to neuter the Scythe counter. They didn't like the fact that Scythe was beating Leviathan, so they wanted to kill both of those counters in one move. And I think that's where a lot of people are mad about this, is that if you were just stopping the punishing one, then I think you need to take more of an approach like I was saying, where you make all Sith allies in the tank's kit have undispellable breach immunity. And then even though they might be able to still get some turn meter and stuff, they can't get to their ult fast enough. You should still outrun them to the ult. And that doesn't prevent Scythe from working. Versus if we use your solution, that does neuter Scythe as well. And again, I'm with the tinfoil hat theories here, guys. I do kind of think that this was intended to neuter more than just punishing one. I really do think they wanted to stop both of them from being able to beat Leviathan, which is not what they said they were doing. And if that's the case, if they did have these ulterior motives, they should have said that they were doing this too. At the very minimum, they need to come out and say, while we didn't intend for this to be the case, yes, it is the case. It is happening. It is an unfortunate, side effect of our solution. But like they need to address the whole Scythe counter getting neutered, in my opinion. And I hate Scythe. I don't want to ever use Scythe, but they need to address it because a lot of people are not happy about it.
So, two things. Number one is, the Scythe counter was not super effective to begin with, right? There was still a good amount of RNG in there. It was not a consistent counter by any means. It was just an alternative counter.
Right.
Number two, and this one I don't necessarily really have the problem with. No one. Where was I going with this? I literally lost the train of thought, like in the moment. Oh, that's annoying. We're gonna keep this in the video too. You're not gonna edit this out, are you? No.
I'm just debating whether to move on or let you keep stewing. I can see the smoke coming out of your headset.
Facts. It's really coming out because I'm like, I know I was going somewhere with this, and it's going to come out the absolute worst time, probably during Master Memes. We're gonna go.
Scythe.
No, like okay, yeah, I don't have a problem with Scythe getting countered because
nerfed. You mean?
Yeah, nerfed.
Yeah.
The issue that I have is that Leviathan's been out for how long? Right,
it's over a year. It's like 16 months now. Yeah, it's been out for a long time.
Even worse.
Yeah.
Even worse.
Yeah.
Scythe's been able to counter ever since it came out. Why not address the Scythe counter then? If that was their intention, be clear about it. But if that was their intention, why not address it then? Why leave it stewing for months and months and months where this is a known counter, and now all of a sudden now you're changing it?
Yeah.
That's where I was going with that.
It's so bad. They need to revoke this. They need to change this. They need to say, you know what, guys, this wasn't the solution that's correct. We're gonna remove this solution. We're gonna go back to the drawing board, and we're gonna redo this and find a better solution because it is not working. It is not working across the board. It is without a doubt ridiculous, you guys. This is ridiculous. One of the easily most ridiculous things, quite frankly, that they have had, in my opinion, here. Let us know in the comments down below, guys. Are we on point with this? And do we think that CG needs to completely overhaul this? Or do they just need to make a little tweak to it and can still make it work? I think they need to completely overhaul it, to be honest with you. This was not the right solution at all.
And it just didn't work.
Well, yeah. So, yeah. Well, that's why I said, or they just need to make a little tweak. Like maybe what they made change isn't working correctly, so we're not actually seeing the real implementation of it. But even then, I think even in theory, when we think through this in theory, it's still terrible. It's still a terrible solution. Like, just no. Throw it in the garbage, redo it. And I don't think anybody would be, again, we've talked about transparency before here, man. If you screw up just like the freaking GL event that comes out after Conquest and their terrible, terrible, terrible response to that, like just come out and say, while we thought this would be a good solution and would yield the results that we were looking for, it has not. And it has been a unsatisfactory solution to the problem. So we are just going to redo it, go back to the blank slate, rethink it, reapproach it, and come to a better solution. Nobody is going to be mad about that. You might have some people that, are trolls and whatever, and are just going to complain about everything no matter what, but they're not going to change their approach. The vast majority of the player base is going to be very appreciative and very thankful of that, versus if you just let this sit and fester. People are going to get mad and quit the game if you let this sit and fester, man. Listen, meatheaded. I'm right on this one. I might be wrong about Inquisitors, but I'm right on this one. All right. Moving on to our last topic, guys. Master of Memes. So for those of you that don't know, we do a Master of Memes competition here on YouTube as well as over on Twitch and in our Discord as well, guys. This week's matchup, we've got two really, really good ones, if I do say so myself here. We have... I'm on the wrong screen again. There we go. We have Schrodinger's Dilemma versus... I need more work. Do you have anything for me? I'm not even going to try to do the Mando accent. I can't do it, guys. I want these three brought in cold. It's personal. So if you can't tell by the picture, because I know this is smaller on your screens than it is on ours, we have the alligator that took Chubbs. Spoiler alert. In Happy Gilmore, we have the Predator from The Predator, and we have the Dolph Lundgren character from Rocky IV. I didn't know what Rocky it was, but I got it.
Ivan Drago. Thank
you, Ivan Drago. That's the character's name. So we have a little bit of a cross-curricular, I love using that word, guys, meme there with that one. Or we have another little cross-curricular one here as well, crossing the streams, if you will, from Star Trek and Star Wars here. In case those of you that don't know, I know you're all Star Wars fans, so you hate Star Trek. It's just a given. But in the world of Star Trek, in the OG Star Trek, not the Next Generation or beyond, if you were wearing a red shirt, you were guaranteed to die, basically. You were someone that was going to die in the show. So, Schrodinger's Dilemma, clearly, guys, here is red shirt versus stormtroopers who can't hit anything. Ram, now that I've had to thoroughly explain both of these memes, which makes them totally not funny anymore, which one do you think is better and would you choose?
So first off, I'd like to clarify, thank you for explaining it to me. Because that actually makes it a tougher decision for me.
They're both
I have
very
not
good.
seen these. I have not seen these memes. I was not present at the stream. So this first time, I would have gone for the Carl Weathers personal bounties thing. Because I did not understand the other one. So because you explained it to me, I'm like, ooh. Yeah, that's actually is pretty funny. And as much as I love Mandalorian, and those are just awesome. The Chubs, the Dolph Lundgren, the Predator, I love those. I gotta go with the Schrodinger's Dilemma. There we go. Yeah, English, man. English is not my strong suit today.
Yeah, so
I don't know. So I gotta go with that because stormtroopers naturally always die, but then they can't hit anything. But then red shirts always die. But how are they going to die if they can't get hit by something that's naturally supposed to die?
Schrodinger's dilemma. Yeah, so
I like it.
For me,
it makes sense.
So as I explained to the chat on Friday night on Twitch here, guys, I actually, and this I'm going to lose all of my subscribers on YouTube now. I actually originally was a Star Trek fan. I watched Star Trek before I watched Star Wars.
Okay, unsubscribed.
I grew up with the Next Generation. So I didn't completely understand the red shirt thing right away, obviously, because Next Generation was different. But me being originally a Star Trek fan, I have to go with Schrodinger's dilemma. I just think it's brilliant on so many levels. But ultimately, our vote does not decide it. Ultimately, you, the viewer, decide the winner of this, guys. This week's Master of Memes was... It's personal, guys. I think it was largely because they heard I liked Star Trek, and so they all revolted. It was literally a 100% against 0 vote. Everyone was very mad that I was originally a Star Trek fan, and they tried to stab me in the back because of it. But our winner this week, guys, yes, it's personal. This is courtesy of Russ Cooks, guys. So for those of you that don't know, we shout out the winner. These are memes are submitted by individual people in the community, and we shout them out both here on YouTube on Rogue Actions. We shout them out on Twitch on Friday when we do the live vote, and we also shout them out and give them a special role over on our Discord channel as well. So if you guys have memes that you would like to see featured here on the Master of Memes competition, guys, head over to the Discord channel, put them in the head over to the Discord, put them in the Master of Memes channel, and we will add you to the list, guys. Congrats, Russ Cooks, on the win. Well done, sir. Well done. Ram, with that being said, sir, do we have any final parting thoughts or words of wisdom for everybody?
Can you spell relax one more time?
RECREATIONAL.
I have no idea what you spelled. You lost me at like the 4th letter.
Because you don't understand what that word is.
English.
Bye, everybody.